Just waiting in to see if more people join in, and then we can begin. Hola, how are you guys doing? Just something. This is more, to be honest, it was pretty boring day in the stock market. Nothing really fancy happened, but one of the things that I did see was the way the market reversed from the lows. And thank you so much. But one of the things that I did see was with the way the market reversed. Like some of the way we went down to the lows and then we turned back up. Those are usually signs of a pretty strong market. Now, at the end of the day, we could pretty much be also entering a situation where we could flip from here and start heading lower. And a lot of people who are currently sitting on cash on the other side would not be knowing what to do, as well as they will be not buying as well, because everyone's going to be looking to see whether they're able to go down all the way to the previous lows. So somewhere below 5,000 on the S&P 500. And stocks like Tesla, stocks like all the other high beta stocks, they're going to get crossed in those kind of situations. That being said, one of the things that I still do believe in, we've been saying this since about, if you go back and watch our previous uh, YouTube videos, one of the things that we're clearly seeing is that the way the market had been around 4 weeks back was extremely telling of the fact that we were going to be turning into a bullish move. I would be surprised to see us go back and test the previous lows. Now, that is not something that I believe would happen, but I'm here to make money, right? I'm not here to be proven right. I'm here to make money. So if I'm wrong, I will flip, I will buy. If I believe prices are going to go higher, I will continue buying. If I believe prices are going to go lower and I'm bullish at this moment, if prices will look like they're going to crash or come lower, I mean, maybe not a crash, but just lower, I would pretty much be like, you know what? It's time to flip. It's time to take some cash off, sit on the sides, and watch out, right? Now, if I was a long-term investor, which 70% of my book is, those guys don't change. They stay there for about 5 years, 7 years, maybe even longer in some situations, unless and until the business model flips. If the business model doesn't flip, there's no reason for me to change any of that. It doesn't make sense. While at the same time, one of the things that I'm pretty certain about is that it doesn't look like we're going to be entering a phase where markets are, they're going to test us to figure out whether we're going lower or no. I don't think they're going to enter a situation where all of us are going to be shit scared and be like, oh, you know what, we're not sure what's going to happen. Everyone's going to be mindful of the fact that there could be bad news on the horizon. Because let's be honest, some of the situations that we're in at this given moment, there is no pending good news or something that I could see right on the horizon. Like, I think the markets already began discounting after the UK trade deal happened, that a lot of the good news when it comes to trade deals is already in the price. A lot of the trade deals that's going to happen with India, with Japan, they're already baked into the price. So there's no reason for us to start believing that we're going to be seeing a 2%, 3% rally every time there's a trade deal that happens. Mind you, if we do have a ceasefire in Russia-Ukraine, that could have a very large impact when it comes to the stock market. The reason that might have a large impact is the price of commodities. If the price of commodities start heading lower and lower, see, everyone's been screaming that, oh, oil's collapsed. Yes, that does help, I don't deny that. But for a sustained period of time, if oil is lower, that helps a lot of consumers. You can't have it just down for 3 weeks and then expect a boom in the economy, right? So, that being said, what is one thing that I'm still looking at is to try seeing how we are positioning ourselves closer to the highs. If we are in situations where we're closer to the 6,000 level, we're just waiting, staying there, we don't break down, there's higher chances of us breaking out. If we do see monumental breakdowns, the way we recover, which is what I was coming back to, right? I mean, in the start of this video, that's one of the things that I was saying. That the way we recovered today from the lows means that buyers are stepping in. If that's the case and buyers do start stepping in, that would be a very good sign of the situation that we can continue this rally. We can get into all-time highs because, mind you, again, we're all here just to make money. So what we all want to clearly realize in this whole scenario is that how is it that we're able to make profit, make returns with the least amount of risk rather than worrying about a situation wherein we're just caught red-handed because we're just like, oh, the falls happened and now every short-term investment has become a long-term investment. If you guys have any questions, just drop it down in the chat. Anything about a particular stock, anything, it's free flowing, so we can just keep taking anything that you guys think about, all the way from anything about financial markets. Other than politics, I'm game for everything. Right? I have zero clue about the politics other than the side of how it will affect financial markets, but when it comes to that, and one of the things, heads up for everyone there, that we're going to be making a video today on the buy now pay later space. So subscribe to our channel, because I think by tomorrow evening we should have a pretty good understanding, as well as you guys would have a pretty good understanding on how the Klarna versus the firm that's currently happening, especially with the fact that the way Klarna currently came out and said that losses have doubled. Yes, to some extent, a lot of people are not able to understand that, so we just want to put it out there. It's not really like the customers are not paying back. There's one-time restructuring costs, there's some amount of share-based compensation that's been paid for, so there's a few things that's been put together in this. So it's not rocket science in terms of trying to figure those out. One of the companies is larger than the other one, Klarna being 4 times larger in terms of GMV, gross merchandise value, whereas a firm being 1/4 that size. That being said, the way a firm is run compared to Klarna and the amount of growth that it has ahead of itself is substantial. So keeping that in mind, let's see if there's that would be a pretty fun video, because we're able to pretty much realize that the buy now pay later scheme could be, is it really a scheme, or is it just going to turn into maybe the next technology boost that AI could, because if you can underwrite pretty well when it comes to AI and using it well for your credit rating agencies, you pretty much have won the battle now. You can't have 10 winners in this. Someone's going to take it, and my bet is on one of those companies, and you figure it out with that video. I'm pretty sure you already know about it. Again, if you guys have any questions, just go ahead. I'm just going to continue looking at some of my charts as well as a few of the information with the S&P 500. Fell about 0.5%, so the Dow Jones, it's too small. It's pretty boring a day till the last half where we dropped and then we flipped up a little bit. But otherwise, I'm not able to see anything which makes me wonder, saying, oh, it looks like there's going to be so much volatility, there's going to be so much. Getting bought out with every small dip that's happening. We're getting pretty much, we're not even breaking highs, neither are we breaking down. Now that range bound movement usually is big guys building positions. Now you don't want to be caught on the wrong side of it, so My bet would be if you really need the money, you should take some money out. If you don't really need the money, you shouldn't be even wondering about trying to see, like, all these things don't even matter in the grand scheme of things, right? I mean, long term investing is just key. So you don't really need to rack your brains and try figuring out how is it that I'm going to be able to make money next week, 2 weeks from now. The only reason why I sit down and analyze short term movements is one, yes, I do get an ego boost if I'm right. But that being said, I know that the market can humble me very soon because I've been doing this for more than 15 years now. But keep in mind that this is a game where if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to win. This is not one of those where luck is the only thing that will play a part. It does play a very large part, but to a larger extent, what's going to be there is, do you have it in you to deal with the down days? Do you have it in you to keep going at it and making money on a weekly, on a monthly, on a yearly basis? And sometimes some months, some weeks wouldn't be that great. Like, I'll tell you, for 2023 and 2024, I think we outperformed the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq over twice, 2x. While at the same time, if you look at 2025, we're pretty much been at the same level. Now, granted, we've been at the same level purely because of two reasons. We went into the year, the market moved up. Somewhere around March, we were like, some of this looks a little too overblown. Some of it looks like there could be a worse tariff situation. That being said, we weren't really that certain that the tariff situation would get as bad as it looked, or it did eventually become. So what we did was we pared down on our positions. We pretty much sat on cash. We waited it out. The market dropped. We came back in because we said, hey, you know what? Looks like it's not really. And we obviously did see that the market was going to reverse in terms of whatever technicals we were looking at, as well as whatever sentiment indicators. They just seemed so bearish that we had to go out and pretty much just start buying in. April came in, market started reversing, markets went up, we started making some money. At the same time, what we started realizing is this recovery could take a little bit longer. Now, granted, this recovery came in way sooner than most people imagined. But at this moment, we're at a juncture where I would say if you need the money, if you have a pending house payment, if you have some payments to be made, take the profit, keep the capital in. If you don't have any of that, these are how 90% of the times bull markets do happen this way. They always seem like they're topish, but then they turn out to become longer and longer and they keep going higher and higher. And you usually miss out on the largest gains because at the fag end of the rallies is when most of the retail crowd comes in. And always be mindful of the fact that you got to buy when everybody else is selling and you got to sell when everybody else is buying. At the moment, everybody else is on the sidelines. Most people are not investing. So make sure that you're there investing at all points of time because that's the way you're going to outperform everybody, right? Charlie Munger clearly says, and one of the videos I just made was about the 5 questions we had with Charlie Munger. I mean, have a look at it. It's it's pretty cool the way we've been able to analyze the largest and most important lesson that I could learn from Charlie Munger was money's not made in buying and selling. It's made in waiting. All you have to do is buy great companies and sit on your ass. Yes, I do have a 3, 4, 5% of my book that I do trade with. I love doing that. That's how I made my money in the start. Eventually, I pivoted to investing. I still do options to a certain extent. But at the same time, I like the rush. So I am going to do a lot of buying and selling as well. It's not just waiting, but a large portion of my book is still going to be in the waiting scenario. I buy companies that I believe are great at a fair price or at a cheaper price than I imagine they could be in the next 3 to 5 years. And I play the long game and it has worked. So if you have a time horizon that is longer than most, if you have a time horizon that is not as short as what people in today's day and age want, you can make a lot of money. You have to just be able to be there. Your best days usually happen right after your worst days. And your worst days at times are going to make you feel like this is not the place I should be in. But stick in because eventually it will pay off, right? So I'm just going to head and do a bit of a few things that I have pending here. I mean, if you guys have anything, just go ahead. I mean, I wanted to keep it free flowing so that we're all on the same page when it comes to any of your questions, anything that you guys have, just drop it in any stocks. It'll pop up for me and then we can have a word about it. So I'm currently in Southeast Asia for any of you wondering that the interesting view that's there right now. It's it's about 8 a.m. here. It's beautiful at the moment. It kind of works in my favor, so I keep myself away from all of the noise of the markets. Let me see. One of the things that I was wondering about was how did United Health do? One of the things that I was looking at was, especially after the buy-in came by the insiders, it was pretty. Yeah, they're up another 1.8% for today. So that seems like it's pretty decent. So I'm gonna try keeping this live sessions going on a daily basis at the same time. Maybe if we can do 45 minutes to an hour at max, unless and until I have something else going on, then that would be. But I'm gonna try seeing if I can just schedule this, and then you guys can keep coming in at the same time. It's about 8 a.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern. Sorry. So I mean, maybe if you guys don't want to have dinner with family and listen to me, so maybe if that works. Then. Yeah, so coming back to United Health, kind of think it looks like might have gotten a bottom. We might see something below 300 again. I think if that happens, that there might be a decent price to look at United Health. They did have kind of an issue with all of the stuff that happened around them. To each his own about that. I'm not really sure exactly what's, but I do know for a fact that the company is a behemoth. At the end of the day, it is pretty strong. Right? It's not something that I believe would be monumental to affect the company. And I don't really think under the current administration they can really go after their medical companies that much as at least the price. I mean, we're down from what, $630 to $320. Seems like a 2022 scenario where stock prices were just completely falling. It was just pretty much mayhem that everyone expected. But anyways, all said and done, it's something that I'm looking at. Not really sure. Another one that I was looking at was DocuSign. This technology company selling package software. I mean, I know they're pretty much deep rooted into a lot of companies, and because of their, one of the things that I was thinking about was because of the amount of data that they have in terms of unstructured data, how much AI can use or can be used in that unstructured data in order to get it structured, as well as help companies in eventually growing to larger scale. Now that could be something that could be pretty interesting. And I mean, that stock's fallen from 315 all the way down to 89. It was down to about 35 a year and a half back. Could it go back to 300? I'm not really sure if we can get back to 2021 levels in terms of the way stock prices were priced at that time. But you never know, right? What if you're in a big bull market for another 2 years? I mean, I still do believe we're in the same bull market that we had before, and we could have a rearing bull market for the next 2 years. If that happens, I mean, we could see 300. It's not something that couldn't be possible. But I think even if you see 180, 250, that's good money. I mean, no reason why anyone should feel, I mean, 50% in like 2 years. I mean, this great returns. I mean, you don't really need to worry too much about it. So my plan for the day is going to be get a few shots out, figure out a few things. I mean, the aim of the channel is not to be something, we don't want to be something that's telling you what to buy, what to sell. It's more to give you, everyone's been listening to the same news, but everyone doesn't have the same understanding that headlines currently that come to you are not the way you're supposed to be thinking about things. I mean, they're out there to scare you, they need to be dramatic, all of that's there. But think about it this way. If shit's not hitting the fan, you should be buying. Let's look at something like United Health, right? Shit pretty much hit the fan, so maybe you shouldn't be buying. But if things starts improving, if the cloudy days seem to be going and you're going to get bright sunny days, you don't need to be able to move out and then come in and then say, hey, you know what, let me wait for all of the dust to settle and then I'll be a buyer and all that. Nah. That's not how things work, right? I mean, let me be honest. If you think you're going to catch a train while it's going at 100 kilometers per hour just because you're running, it's not going to work that way. So that's just some of these things. I mean, we want to keep the channel more interactive. So, I mean, you guys can join us in, ask us questions. I mean, at times, my aim would be purely to also give out some of the investing stuff that we've learned over time, not just from ourselves that we've learned, but also from people that we follow, investors that we follow. In the grand scheme of things, I'm going to try doing a few things. One, try coming here daily, maybe about 4 or 5 days a week, just to give you guys a breakdown. You know what, someday we'll have maybe more than 10 viewers, someday we'll have 100, someday we'll have the same. It all starts small, but I'm going to keep going at it, because eventually we're going to get more and more people that come in and ask questions, and we want that one-on-one, we want that interaction, because we can help you solve those questions that you believe are. We're not going to be able to, in all honesty, we're not going to be able to tell you what the market's going to do tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now. We're not going to know that. We might know in terms of, or what we might believe as our opinion as to where we believe prices could go, what could happen. So on an interactive basis, you guys have your questions. Let's say you have answers that you want about particular stocks, something or the other. I mean, we could maybe break down a particular stock. Okay, if you have like a long-term horizon, I mean, that's just going to make things simpler for us as well, right? So, I mean, few things. We just want to give you a holistic experience as to what is it that, the way we think about things. Why is it that we're still doing this after 15 years? And hopefully we're going to continue doing this for the next 30, 40 years. It's just more of a top-down approach to what we believe, few things that we have learned over the past. Especially because when we began was post-2008. So we've seen these kind of things happen in the markets time and again. And it's just simpler to basically put your head on your shoulders and realize that, just think, if you believe you're already a long-term investor and a long-term thinker, I would say start thinking a little bit longer than that, because that's what's going to build the muscle memory in you to start thinking even more long-term. You need to, I mean, everyone that thinks long-term also looks at short-term, right? I mean, we look at prices on a daily basis as well. We look at prices on a daily basis for opportunity. We don't look at prices on a daily basis to try saying, or did we lose 10,000? Did we make 100,000? Did we lose 40,000? No. What we're looking for is dislocated high quality companies. Now, in a book that I just read about a year and a half back, or a year back, was the book called Nothing But Net. Mark Mahaney wrote that book from Evercore ISI, and fabulous. One of the things that he clearly said was look for dislocated high quality companies, DHQs. DHQs are basically companies that are with a growing market share, an increasing addressable market size, something like an Uber, something like a Netflix, something like a Spotify. These companies have been growing time and again to such large scales that eventually people realize that this is something that's not going to happen, right? Even if we do enter a recession, how many of us are going to be cutting down on our Netflix subscription? We might cut down on our restaurant. So even if I don't go to the restaurant for like once in a month and I save that, that would pretty much be $100 saved. Now that could be put into 5 streaming services. Do I need to really cut down a month of entertainment just because I want to go and have some expensive food somewhere? Nah, I don't think people are going to be doing that. So these are things that are pretty much ingrained into us, that cutting down on Netflix, not using Uber, not using Spotify, right? Music plays a very different role in our lives, right? We might not watch the same movie on a loop basis, or we might not even watch it. We might watch it maybe once in a few years, even if we really do love it. But if we really love a song, the human mind is built in such a way that we react to music in a very different way, wherein we're going to be now, we're okay to listen to it. Maybe to overplay a song, it would take us a very long time, right? So Spotify was a great pick at somewhere around 89, 90 that we were able to buy it in. I mean, in hindsight, it's easy to say that we got it at one of the lowest prices, but we were also one of the sellers when it came towards 500, and we were caught napping when it went all the way to 600. But that's part of the game. And it's how things roll here. You can't really sit down and look at the past. You have to move forward. You have to look ahead. You have to start seeing, how is it that I'm going to be able to make more money? How is it that I'm going to be able to focus better? How is it that I'm going to be able to think better? That is important. Think of that, because that's what's going to change your mindset towards investments, and that's exactly what we're planning to do with our channel. It's pretty new, it's brand new, so make sure to like and subscribe all of our videos, because that's what we need at this moment. Just spread it more, but not here. I mean, simply put, we're just not here to sit down and try. I mean, a lot of people believe that, a lot of these YouTube guys, they're coming on, just trying to make money, It's not our motivation. It's not something. I mean, one of the reasons why we are even doing this is because we've had a few people that came to us and told us that, and especially shout out to this great individual called Tom in our lives, who basically came out and said that you guys have so much information, and you guys are anyways speaking to a lot of people free of cost and telling them how you guys think for hours together. Why don't you all just help a larger audience? And that's when I said, you know what, let's do this. And the only reason why we never did it for so long was because it would take up so much of our time and we were focusing so much on work. But then, I turned around and said that let's do this on a scale where we're able to maybe put it out for the world out there, and whoever is interested in this niche can come in and look and join. And so it's just something that we plan to do. Keep going at it. If we get 5 views, we get 5 views. If we get 5 million views, we get 5 million views. If we get 1 million subscribers, great. The more we help, the better. That's the aim of the game. We're not here to raise any money or any of that. We're just interested in being. We just want to let you know how we think. You can agree, you can disagree. If you agree, you will continue listening to us, and maybe you can put in a point of view which might even help our understanding. If you don't agree, great, so be it. We're not here to prove that we're right, because we're not saying that we're going to be right all the time. What we're saying is, with our experience, we at least can give you a guiding light to where we believe the markets can go, or what might happen in terms of you making money. We might have bad days as much as everybody else does. It's how you react to those bad days that matters. It's not how much you lose and how much you make. That's not important. It's how you react. Let's just go back and see a few stocks. Let's just do something. I mean, at the moment, I'm not sharing my screen or any of that, because I'm not sure how many of you really want to see our screens and everything else that's going around. But maybe someday we will. I mean, whatever you guys want, just be clear, just ask it out there, and we'll make sure to either make a video or help you guys with it. Pretty much close to flat for the day, so it's not really. I just have a strong feeling that we're pretty much getting primed to start hitting towards the 6,000 on the S&P 500 and keep going higher. So this is something that I'm looking forward to. It's something that seems pretty interesting at this given moment. This is pretty much my daily routine, so I come in here somewhere around early morning hours. It's a nice place, pretty quiet. Sit down, get a coffee, figure out a lot of my day's work. And I'm pretty new to this side of the camera, so forgive me for everything that goes a little out of whack, but it's just something now that I like doing it in terms of putting content out there. It's nothing too fancy. It's just fun. So maybe I'll keep this going on for maybe another 10 minutes and then just get back to doing some work, and then maybe we can connect later in the evening. I think this evening, yeah, we're going to be making a buy now pay later video, so that should come up tomorrow. That would be a fun one. It's more like a deep down research into a firm. That's one of the stocks that we do believe can actually do very well, run by a great guy, great management, great long-term thinking. That's the way to go, though. Another one that is pretty fascinating is a company called Trade Desk. I mean, and not a lot of people know about it. It's still about a $37 billion business, so it's pretty big. But I do believe it could be the next $100 billion business that we could be heading to. It's not something that's unfathomable for the Trade Desk to head there, especially with the amount of people that are shifting from a cable television to now a connected television model, the CTV model. And under the CTV model, a lot of people would eventually be on Netflix, Disney, Hulu, Paramount, Apple TV, and all of these guys. The eventual monetization for all of these companies is going to be advertising. The back end of advertising is going to be Trade Desk, because what they're able to do is give you instant advertisements catered to each individual that's watching those shows, and it's a retention system, right? I mean, with the new systems that Trade Desk is building at Kokai, it's just magnificent to see something that can have a 95% retention ratio. Yeah, that should be something else that we make another video on, and I truly do think Trade Desk could head back to its previous high and maybe even higher, maybe even the $200 levels. So this should be fun, guys. I mean, I think it's a great system that we have in place here. We just help people out without having to think too much about things. I also do believe that the bond yields eventually would turn back lower, head back lower below the 5%. I mean, below the 4.5%. This is the 10-year that I'm talking about, and 5% for the 30-year bond yield. We can go back to the 4.238. So, interesting company. I think a Rocket as a company might do well if it has a large portion of its book that starts getting refinanced at lower rates, and that's the aim of the Trump administration. So we're here to make money, right? So if things work out that way, they work out that way. That's again something. Any of the stocks any of you guys have, and I'm gonna do this on a daily basis. So if there's even 0 views or 0 subscribers, that's okay. Just gonna do this. Just let you guys know what we feel, what's happened. I don't want to keep it like too formal, so it's simpler when it's this way. Anyway, so let's call it quits for tonight, for everyone in America, and maybe we can do this again tomorrow, same time. Right? We see, how do I cancel this? All right, there you go. Okay, take care, guys. Yeah.